Is he married? And if he is married and you found out through somebody else, what do you do? I was with a married man off and on for 30 years. And I can tell you from that experience the things I learned and the reason why I'll never do it again. Yep, dummy me, off and on for over 30 years, same married man. Now, when we met, we both worked for the same agency. And at the time, he was separated from his wife. Now, that part was true. But it would be a number of months before I knew that he had gone back to his wife, but was still seeing me. So this is what happened. Seeing him off and on, just kicking it. I wasn't really in love with him or anything at that point, but we would just kick it and see each other and sit around talking and all the stuff you do. You know what I'm saying? But one day I was at his desk, and we were with the same agency, but my building was separate from his. And I remember going over there for a potluck or something. And I was sitting at his desk and eating this delicious food. And I said out loud, wow, this is so good. Who made this food? And the person sitting next to him said, his wife did. I'm thinking to myself, what? Well, she owned a catering company. And so I just, what? I didn't say anything. I played it cool. I didn't even say anything to him when he came back to his desk. I just went on and acted like nothing happened. And it was the next time that we got together, and I remember sitting at the foot of the bed. He was here, I was here. And we were looking ahead. And I looked at him and I said, are you married? And he just froze. He just froze. He never even answered the question. He just froze. Now, that was my opportunity to exit stage left, but I did not. At the time, now look, this is hindsight, y'all. I didn't understand all these machinations in my head at the time. I was just doing stuff at that time. But in hindsight, I was fresh out of an abusive marriage. And at the time, I'm in another city, they back here, and there was no kind of relationship at all with my husband, but I was not officially divorced at that time. So I had a lot of nerve talking about him being married, because whether we were together or not, I was still married. But having come off of that trauma and not dealt with that trauma and another trauma before that, and another trauma before that, I really didn't want a committed relationship. I was convinced that I was fine, that he was committed elsewhere. I wasn't looking for a commitment from this man, and I just enjoyed the relationship whenever we saw each other. Now, this went on for over 30 years, y'all. It would be a thing where, okay, he was married and I wasn't married. And then I was married and I didn't see him while I was married. But the minute my husband went into prison, then I called him, right? And then we go to kicking it again. Husband come out. What I did was I moved up here and quit seeing the guy, and then, get back with my husband, yada, yada, yada. So it was like an off and on thing over 30 freaking years. And the only way that thing ended was at some point I got tired and realized that our conversations never changed. So back in the 80s, I'd be talking about I hadn't gotten my degrees, and I'd be talking about what I wanted to do. I want to get my degree and and I want to go on and do this, and I want to go on and do that. And he would talk about the stuff he wanted to do and yada, yada, yada. Well, some 28, 29 years later, And I'd moved up here and he was married again to his second wife. I'm still seeing this joker. Look, y'all, I'm just telling it like it is. I'm not here to blow smoke up anybody's behind. So I just have to be real about my life. And one day we were sitting up in this very place. And I remember thinking, well, dadgummit, this guy's still saying the same crap he was saying 28, 29 years ago. Absolutely nothing's changed in his life. We're complaining about the same old stuff, talking about the same old stuff. And it just got old to me. Just got really old to me. So I finally cut that off. Shortly after that, well, just before, let me go back. Just before that, he was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. So he started fighting that cancer. I'm up here. He's in a different city. And eventually he passed away. Now, I had cut it off so much that I didn't even know when he passed away. It was some time later, I got it through a third person who ran into his wife, and she told her that he had passed away, and that's how I found out about it. So I guess I needed to tell you all the truth about that, because I think we should talk about, what do you do when you find out that he's married? This is the deal. I suggest that if somebody you meet is separated from their spouse or getting a divorce or in the middle of a divorce, you guys, that period of time gets messy. And this is the truth of the matter. Most importantly is the fact that if somebody's coming off of a marriage and they're still in that separation, going through a divorce phase, nobody there needs to be starting up another relationship. You never want to be involved with a man or woman who is a serial dater. That means they're dating one after the other after the other. They can't get over the previous relationship or jumping into another one. This is not a healthy individual who's ready for a relationship. And unless you're in the same spot where you don't really care, then that's never going to work for you. Now, when I say it's messy, this is the deal, y'all. To me, we're separated simply means, okay, we're sleeping in 2 different rooms, or I got a place, you got a place, we still married, but this is our license to cheat on each other. This is our license to go out with other people, right? Legally, a separation is supposed to be a period of time where you wait to see and try to work it out and see if you all can work it out before moving to a divorce. But what it really is everybody's free to see whoever they want to, including each other. So that the period gets kind of messy where they're still sleeping with each other, and now he or she is dating you, and that's too much drama, y'all. Trust me, if you're looking for a committed relationship, deal with nobody in the separation or we're getting a divorce phase. Full stop. That's a boundary you need to draw with yourself. Do not do it. Because if you want a committed relationship, that ain't the person for the 2 reasons I indicated. 1, too quick. Why you jumping from relationship to relationship? Deal with your mess. And 2, it's easy for him to deal with somebody else. Now, were they cheating on their spouses before the divorce? Who knows? They not going to tell you that truth, because the person who would cheat ain't going to be truthful about it, because it's deceptive on its face. So just don't. You stay out of relationship with people who are in that separation or getting a divorce phase, because you will get hurt. If you're looking for something real and long lasting, you will get hurt, because trust me, most times they're still bouncing back and forth in each other's bed, and you in the mix. Don't do that. Don't do that. And even if the person isn't married, you do not want to be getting involved with somebody that's jumping from relationship to relationship. What is the problem here, right? You want somebody that's more stable than that. There's a problem there if they're the type of person that's jumped from relationship. And if you are doing that, There's a problem. If it's you that's jumping from one relationship to the other, we need to talk. Okay? We need to talk because it had to be hurtful. And if you're jumping from relationship to relationship and it really ain't hurting you at all, then they ain't the problem. Okay? And if you jump from relationship to relationship and you're not taking time to heal and work on yourself and draw some boundaries with yourself so that you're not in and out of these breakups, then we need to talk. Something ain't right. Okay? So the other thing I want to tell you about that, if you're in a situation where, just like with me, they might have been separated, but then they didn't tell you when they went back to their wives. And the way that generally works is now you're all wrapped up emotionally. Then you got a decision to make. You guys say, I get it. You're all wrapped up emotionally. You've gotten physical with it. And you feel like you got invested yourself into it. What you going to do now? Because these are the truths that we need to face when we're dealing with married people. Number one, they're not looking to break up their marriage. They having their cake and eating it too. And you ain't the first piece of cake they ate in this scenario, okay? And so you got to understand that they might be cheating with you and a couple of other people at the same time. And if not at the same time, they have done it before because they're too good at this mess. They're not likely to leave their spouses for you. So let's say I'm wrong. Let's say I'm wrong. They leave their spouse for you. You don't want that. You don't want that. Well, maybe you do. Okay. Let's couch this whole conversation in. I'm talking to individuals who are wanting a long-term committed relationship with somebody. Okay? These are people I'm talking to now. Everybody else, tune out. Okay? If you're wanting a committed relationship, you don't want that. Why do we lie to ourselves that if they're cheating with us, we're something special? Okay, and that they wouldn't cheat on us. Taking a man or a woman from their spouse is not a feather in our caps. You do not want somebody of that character. Again, I tell all the time, if a man or a woman will cheat on their spouse, that's a character flaw that existed before they met their spouse. It has existed while they were married to their spouse, and it will continue to exist after they divorce their spouse. So you don't want to be the person that caused that breakup. Karma's a trip, okay? And you do not want to be in a so-called committed relationship with a cheater. If this sounds like hard truth, I am not sorry. Okay? And I'm talking to you. I ain't talking down to nobody. I admit up front, my behind did this crap. Okay? And I wasn't even expecting that person to leave their wife. And they were married to two different women while I'm messing with them. So this ain't about I'm better than you. I'm just telling you truth. You don't want that. Okay? So I'm going to leave that right where it is. Okay. Now, you might not know that they're married because they might not want you to know that. But if they're not taking you around their family, okay, you're not going to special occasions with them, Christmases and holidays, they might sneak away for an hour or two. Okay. Or they're not spending that time. You're not a real part of their lives. Okay. They might be married. They might be married, okay? Because they can't spend the time. They're not split. They can't send half themselves over here and be with the family, and half themselves over here and be with you. It ain't gonna happen. And there's a secrecy, a separation, a compartmentalization of their lives where there the two shall meet. So if you're not being involved with the family get-togethers and they're not available to you during the week, on the weekends, you've never been to their place, it's always your place or a hotel, they are married. Okay. They're married, period. They can wear a ring, not wear a ring. You may or may not see a ring mark. I don't know. But the reality is they can't be in two places at the same time. Now, back when I was doing this dumb mess, cell phones weren't a thing. But nowadays, I guess this whole texting thing and being more directly connected to people, you can also tell if something ain't right that you may not have their home phone number, or they're not letting you contact them on their cell at certain times of the week, or certain days, or certain hours. Okay, if you text them or leave a message for them, they don't get right back to you. It might be hours or days before they get back to you. You know, who are you spending your weekends with? Because it ain't them if they're married, right? And so you just have to look for these telltale signs. Are they paying for everything with cash? If they take you out, is it always cash that they're using so that there's no paper trail to what they're doing? Are they taking you back to their place or taking you to a hotel room? Is it always your place? Are they having to get up and go home, or are they spending the night on a regular basis? All of these things is how available are they to you? Now, I'm going to say this because I don't want to be unrealistic here. Your feelings have gotten involved. You may have fallen in love with this man, and now you're wrestling with that. And it takes priority over doing the right thing or doing what's good for you. And in order for you to find a true committed relationship with an individual who will give their undivided input into the relationship. I get that. I get that. So this is what I want you guys to do. First of all, I want you to be deliberate about this. Now, I have trouble keeping journals. I'll write them for a while, and then they sit on the shelf for years. But write down some stinking where. What do you want in a man first, in a woman, if that's applicable, or in a relationship? Okay? What kind of character traits must they have? What kind of personality traits must they have? And then you're going to say, what do you want in a relationship? Two different stinking things, okay? So you might want, okay, I'll just tell you what I want. I would want an individual who was highly intelligent, so we could have these long conversations about anything and go deep into the subject and banter back and forth like that. That's really important to me. A sense of humor. I love to laugh, okay? I love to laugh. And I want somebody with a really keen sense of humor, but I don't want it to be at anybody else's expense. So you're not talking about mocking other people. You're not disrespecting me with the humor, but they would have to have good humor. I want somebody who can be in any social situation and be comfortable. So in other words, if it's my cousins down south and the farm at a farm, okay, and we were just sitting around, say the campfire, or just sitting around in that kind of situation, they would be just as comfortable as if we were in a social situation, some high-end situation with highfalutin people, right? And that kind of thing. So I want them to be able to, the whole gamut, be comfortable with who they are. And that's important to me. So these are the kind of things that I want you to write down as to what you want in a man or a woman. But then what do you want in a relationship? For me, I want total honesty, even when it might hurt my feelings. The relationship has to be supportive. So it's not all about 50-50. It's just that we all in for each other. We'd have to have each other's backs on all level. It has to be loving and supportive in that there's no competition. So you're not jealous of what I accomplished. I'm not jealous of what you accomplished. Third, I want you to write a list of what you would have to do, what boundaries you would need to draw with yourself in achieving that. Because you don't want to keep, as long as you caught up with a married person and they're not that's never gonna change. And even if it did, you really don't want somebody that cheated with you as your spouse, okay? So what would you have to change in yourself in order to be able to let go of the married situation and be able to just sit in it on your own for a while to address whatever's in you that feels you don't deserve better than that married situation? What is it in your background that may have informed your being willing to settle for that? What is it that you think you're getting from the married situation that you would never be able to get in a committed one-on-one with somebody who's not committed to somebody else? You need to determine what it is that you have been doing in the past that you will no longer allow in your life in the interest of finding the love of your life. That's going to take work, and that takes some serious honesty on your part to do this. You're going to have to be real honest with yourself. It's not going to be easy, and that's going to be a process. But the truth of the matter is that you are out of place values-wise if you want a committed long-term relationship, monogamous relationship with somebody, but you're caught up with a married person. What's wrong with this picture? Because you're never going to get that long-term committed monogamous relationship as long as you're in this married situation. It's going to take a period of time where you really deal with yourself and determine what limiting mindsets makes you willing to settle for being in a relationship with a married person. And then deal with those mindsets, address those limiting mindsets. And this might mean that you're going to have to be alone out of a relationship for a while. Now, but I understand this, if you embark on this journey of what I call self-realization, meaning that you're going to do whatever's necessary to get to the bottom of settling for less, okay? And in that process will be a healing that comes. And as you move through that healing, this married situation may be less and less fulfilling to you and less acceptable to you. I just want you to start on the healing journey. Don't wait till you break up with this person, this married person. Just start on this healing journey. I tell you what I'll do. I'm going to give you guys a link so that you can download the 5-day Love of Your Life Challenge. Because what that is, look, this is not a do this and make him love you. Do this and make her love you. Yada, make yourself. No. This is all about this internal process I'm talking about, where you're going to go deep inside and connect with your own personal values. And we build on that over 5 days to bring you to a point where you know exactly how to proceed in order to find the love of your life. I'll give a link below to the 5-day Love of Your Life Challenge. And I challenge you to take the challenge. Married person or not in your life, if you're still sitting there waiting for this ultimate love of your life in everybody, there's somebody for everybody, but you're stuck because you don't know how to proceed, then you want to take the 5-day love of your life challenge. I don't know if I said anything here that's helpful to anybody, but hey, there it is. Always remember, your greatest power is realizing the truth of who you are. Know that truth. Really? Oh, while you're here, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thanks.